Good morning students. Welcome to the virtual classroom. We are going to study chapter number 7, P block elements. Now, it's a part of the organic chemistry. Already we have studied something related to these P block elements in the standard 11th. We have already studied it, the group number 13 and 14. Actually the P block element, it consists of group 13 to 18. It's considered to be as an P block elements, right? 13 to 18, that means their general electronic configuration. We write it as NS2, NP12, NS2, NP6. That is its general electronic configurations. If we talk about the properties of these P block elements, then we can say that the properties of P block elements are highly affected by atomic size, ionization energy, electron gain enthalpy, electronegativity, presence of D and D or DNF orbitals, or by absence of D orbitals. These are the particular properties that are going to affect the properties of the P block element. That means the elements of the P block element. We know it, atomic size. That means in this chapter, particularly when we are going to study about how they are going to affect it, we are going to study the groups. That means we are going to study about their characteristic from top to bottom. What about the top to bottom atomic size? What will be the characteristic? From top to bottom, what will be the ionization energy? What will be the trends? What will be the trends? How they are going to going to be get affected, right? You can say it that the presence of D and F block elements, they are from third period. This presence you can find it from third period, while it's absent in second period. Right? First period it's only S block, S orbitals. Second and third are having it as an S and P orbitals. From the third we are going to get it as a SP and D orbitals. From the fifth we are going to get it as an SP, D, F. Right? So that shows that the presence of D and D or F are from third. That means we consider them as an higher elements. Whereas in the second period the D orbital is absent. So that is also going to affect our elements. The another factor, that is the completely P block element. The P block of periodic table consists metals, non-metals and metalloids. All the factors that are going to be present in it. Our complete S block element, when we are talking about it, S block, it consists of only metals, alkali metals, alkaline earth metals. When we are talking about the D or F, they are transition metal or inner transition metals. Only the P block element, the P block of the periodic table is such a block where you can find out the metals, non-metals and metalloids, all the three characteristic containing elements in the P block. So we are going to get it as an P block with metals, non-metals and metalloids. Actually we studied it, group number 13 and 14 of this P block in standard 11th. So within this standard, within this chapter, we are going to study group 15 to 18. We will study in this unit, right? One by one we will study all the things, maybe certain compounds, maybe certain elements, maybe anomalous behavior, maybe the general trends of physical and chemical properties of the certain elements. We are going to study one by one for each and every group. As we already know it that because of the COVID-19 we are having it as a problem, we are studying it as in virtual classrooms, and because of it the government has already helped the students by reducing the syllabus, right, so that they can prepare it better. So whichever the topics they are not been included in our syllabus, which have been removed, we won't be discussing within this virtual classrooms. If we required, we'll do it later on after the completion of the whole syllabus, right? Whatever required topics are there, because they might be required to you for your entrance exams, but we will do it at the end after completion of our rest of the syllabus, right? Okay, now we know it that what we want to study it within this group or within this chapter. So one by one we will take it and we will try to understand what are the characteristic or things that have been there for the P block elements. So first of all we will go it for group number 15. Now when we are talking about group 15, it means that it's a central element of the P block. The reason is its general electronic configuration. Is NS2 NP3. That means first and second we have eliminated. We are going to start with the third, NS2 NP3. This particular group, it consists of nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenite, antimony and bismuth. N, P, As, Sb and Bi. Nitrogen, it means Z we will be getting it as an 7. Now see, this is a general trend that we want to remember, right? We want to know its atomic number. This is your Z, that is atomic number. Now how to remember it? For the first element I know it, but for the rest of the element I will be just going it by the help of 2, 8, 8, 18, 18, 32. That is the magic number that you have studied it, right? We have already discussed related to this in our 11th standard also. 7 plus 8, you will be getting it as 15. Then you are getting it as an fourth period, that means 18 elements. 18 plus 15, that will be 33. 33 plus 18 means you will get it as 51. And 51 plus 32, you will be getting it as an element number 83. So that means this 7 plus 8 15 plus 18 33 plus 18 51 and plus 18 83 plus 32 83. That are the general elements. Now if you see the properties of this case, then from top to bottom, metallic character decreases, that is increases. Metallic character increases, whereas non-metallic character it decreases. Now if I want to understand it, can I say that this particular nitrogen and phosphorus are non-metals. Arsenite and antimony, they are metalloids, while bismuth is a metal. So that shows that the top to bottom metallic character, that is increasing, non-metallic character decreases, right? That is the first thing. Then we saw that its general electronic configuration is NS2 NP3. Now this is completely filled. NS2 means completely filled, and NP3 means it's a half filled. Now S orbital is completely filled, P orbital is half filled, and we know that half filled or completely filled orbital shows high stability. Now this shows higher stability. What is the reason for increasing the stability of the component? Because of half filled. So that rule will be applicable over here, that stability of these compounds are in the increasing order because of their half filled orbitals, right? Okay, now let's take it as an one by one, the trends that we want to discuss it. The trends that we want to discuss, that was related to the atomic ionic radii, ionization energy, electron gain enthalpy, electronegativity, right? So one by one we'll discuss about it, and we'll try to find out what is going to happen, right? But before going for the trend, we'll write down the electronic configuration of all these elements. Now we know that we are having it as an element, atomic number, electronic configuration. See, once we write this, it will be much easier for us to understand all those factors, right? We are having it as an element nitrogen, atomic number 7. We will be having a configuration of helium, 2s2, 2p3. Then you are having it as a phosphorus, atomic number 15. We will be having it as an neon, 3s2, 3p3, right? We are going to have it as arsenite, atomic number 33. See, again, I am repeating it. 7 plus 8, 15. 15 plus 18, that is 33. We are going to get it as argon. We will be getting it as 3d10, 4s2, 4p3. Then we will be having, after arsenite, antimony with atomic number 51. Krypton, 4d10, 5s2, 5p3, as well as 36, 46, 51, right? Then we are having it as in bismuth with 83, where we will be having xenon, that means it's a 54, right? After that you will be having it as an 5d10, 54 plus 10, 64, 64 plus 4f, 14, 64, 74 plus 4, 78, 78 plus 6s2, 6p3. So that means this shows that this orbital has absence of d orbital. D orbital are present, f orbital, absence of d orbital. Here presence of d orbital, and here presence of d and f orbitals, right? So the trends that are going to be affected, we can find out over here. What there will be a changes, or what are the changes, or what are the reasons behind these trends, right? So first of all, as we told it, we are going to discuss about. Now this I am going to put it over here only. So whatever we are going to get it, we will be discussing it every time. After each trend I will drop this. This will be there with you, and this is going to be very important for you. Even if you need, you can note it in your notebook, right? Atomic and ionic radii. We will be discussing it, the first factor of atomic and ionic radii. Now what you will say, top to bottom, atomic and ionic radii, it increases from top to bottom. The trend says that atomic and ionic radii increases from top to bottom, right? But when we will find out that what is the radius, what is the difference in the radius, then you will find it that between nitrogen and phosphorus there is a large difference. Between the atomic and ionic radii, there will be a large difference between nitrogen and phosphorus. That means nitrogen is very small in size, while phosphorus it's a comparatively bigger in the size. So there will be a large difference. Now what is the reason behind this? Why there is a large difference? You can say that for the nitrogen there is an absence of the d orbital, while for the phosphorus you are having it as in 3d, which is a vacant, completely vacant, but the 3d orbital is available. So because of the absence of d orbital in nitrogen, there is a large difference between the nitrogen and phosphorus. Whereas rest of the elements, arsenite to bismuth, there is a very small difference between their atomic and ionic radii. There is a very small difference between the atomic and ionic radii of this, because again what we can say, this is because of d and f orbitals that are existing in the rest of the higher elements. So there is a difference of it. Okay, is it clear? Now this can be one of the reasons that why there is a difference between the atomic radii of nitrogen and phosphorus being in very large, whereas that in between the arsenite to bismuth the radius difference is very small. What is the reason? Nitrogen, phosphorus, absence of d orbital in nitrogen, whereas arsenite to bismuth there is a presence of completely filled d and f. See, we don't have empty d and f orbital, we are having it as a completely filled d and f orbitals between arsenite to bismuth, and that's the reason why this trend we can see it, right? Let's go it for the second one. The second one we will discuss it is related to the ionization. The second factor we will discuss, that is related to the ionization enthalpy. Now what we will find out for the ionization enthalpy? Now before we discuss it, it's necessary that we should revise what is ionization energy. The definition of the ionization energy. The ionization energy is the energy required to remove the electron from the neutral gaseous atom to form positively charged ion. Whatever the electrons are there, I want to remove these electrons from its outermost orbit so that they become positively charged ion. The amount of the energy required is known as ionization energy. Now we studied it in the 11th, the trend related to the ionization energy in general. In general we studied it that top to bottom atomic radius is increasing and ionization energy is completely dependent on atomic radius. The reason is the force of attraction between the nucleus and outermost electron. The ionization energy depends on nucleus and outermost electron. If the distance between the nucleus and outermost electron is less, ionization energy required is more. If the distance is more, that means attraction is reduced, and because of the reduction in the attraction, ionization energy decreases, right? So from this you can now say it very easily. What will be the trend for the ionization energy, right? What we'll find out? Ionization energy decreases down the group. Ionization energy decreases down the group as atomic size increases. As the atomic size is increasing down the group, its ionization energy is decreasing. Okay, now let's compare this particular group with the elements of the rest of it, right? Group number, this is 15. If I compare the ionization energy with group number 14, what will find out? The group 15 has half-filled orbitals which are highly stable. As a result, their ionization energy is much higher than the elements of group 14, right? See, two factors are responsible. One is half-filled. The second factor, if you see, the size of the group 15 elements are smaller than the 14 because left to right when we move, atomic size decreases. So even this is because of the smaller size. Group 15, it's a smaller, as well as it's having it as an half-filled orbitals. Whereas group 16, it's even smaller, but they don't contain half-filled. So compared to group 16 also, they are having higher ionization energy, right? So here we can say it. Another reason is of smaller size than group 14 elements, but in group 16, because of half-filled, its ionization energy is higher, though group 16 elements are smaller in size. Though elements of group 16 are smaller in size. Okay, so that is for the ionization energy. Remember it. For the group, that means for top to bottom, radius increases, so ionization energy decreased. That was a single factor. But when I am moving it from the corresponding elements of the group 14 or 16, if I want to compare it, like here I want to compare it for carbon, nitrogen and oxygen. Carbon will be having an 14 electrons, nitrogen 6 electrons, nitrogen 7 and oxygen 8. What will happen? Now carbon will have 2p2, this is having 2p3, and oxygen will have 2p4. So both group 14 and group 16 are not having half-filled, while this one is having half-filled orbital. So stability is more, so their ionization energy corresponding to their respective groups, it will be higher. Okay, so that is related to the ionization enthalpy. The third factor that we want to discuss related to this group, that is related to the electronegativity. What we will get it for the electronegativity? We can very easily say it. Atomic size increases, ionization energy decrease. That means from top to bottom, tendency to donate electron increases. As tendency to donate electron increases because of low ionization energy, its electronegativity decreases from top to bottom, right? Its electronegativity decreases from top to bottom because atomic size increases, ionization energy decreases, so electronegativity also decreases from top to bottom. Okay, these were the general trends that we discussed it. In our next lecture we will discuss something related to its further another oxidation states or chemical or physical properties of this group, right? Till then, thank you.